We're joined now by trial attorney and legal analyst Misty Marris and trial attorney Rebecca Rose Woodland. Thank you both for being here. I've got to ask first about this witness, the student who was injured in this. Why this new witness, and what is this witness supposed to say?
So this was a victory for the prosecution because, as we know, in Jennifer's trial, the defense tried to keep out anyone that was actually at the school that day, saying it was prejudicial. So this witness is now being allowed to testify about their experience, their injury.
But why? Why not in the first trial? Why in this trial?
The judge actually found that in this case it was relevant because it directly relates to the use of the firearm by Ethan.
Rebecca, today, actually, as jury selection is starting, the James Crumbley's lawyers move for a change of venue. Obviously, the whole world, the nation, followed this trial very closely. He was denied, but I can see why he asked. It seems like everybody in that community has an opinion.
Look, his defense attorney has to ask for something like that, given the fact that the wife was already found guilty in the same courtroom with the same judge. But realistically, everyone in the country is following this case, so it's very hard to argue as a defense attorney that there'll be jurors in another location that will have less knowledge than the jurors in the location they are currently trying the case.
All right, I want you both to weigh in on this. Rebecca, you first. In the first trial, Jennifer Crumbley really did not come across so well. She testified on the stand. She was asked if you could go back and do anything differently, would you? And she said no. We've got 4 dead kids and a lot of people with psychological scarring as a result of this shooting. Her son is in prison for the rest of his life. She said no. Is there a chance he'll come off less unsympathetically?
I mean, we don't know yet if he will take the stand. Even if he does not, I find it very hard to believe that they would want to put him on the stand because of her testimony and her behavior. They're taking a very big chance with him because she was terribly unsympathetic, which makes me think that possibly this family was a very broken family before this incident.
And yet, Misty, there's that videotape. Let's roll that. I want everybody to watch this for a second. This is Jennifer and James visiting their son shortly after he's been arrested for opening fire in his school, killing 4 kids, and they go into his jail cell. Watch this.
Okay, so we're going to ask you a bunch of questions about why you did this. I don't think we need to have so many questions right now.
Why?
I did. Why? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
All right, you see, and it actually goes on and on and on. James continues saying, I love you, I love you. She's yelling at her son, why? And he's saying, I love you. So is it possible that she looked really bad, according to everything she was, posting on Facebook and texting, and that he might not?
Well, so he wasn't involved in some of those text messages that were central to the Jennifer Crumbley case, so I could see that playing into it. And again, whether or not he takes the stand, we don't know, but they might hold off on that and say, since he's not involved in the text messages, the central issue here is going to be that gun, the purchase of the gun, the storage, the safekeeping, so he might not need to take the stand on that. She had a lot to explain regarding her communications with Ethan and regarding the case that was built against her, which was basically that she was aloof and more interested than herself, than her son. I think the case is going to be a little different when it comes to him.
But there was a text message from Ethan Crumbley about his father that was used in Jennifer Crumbley's trial, in which Ethan Crumbley says, I went to my mom and dad, I asked for psychological help, I asked for, I'm seeing demons, I'm seeing things flying. My dad, quote, laughed at me and told me to suck it up.
Right, and here's where the distinction is. It's not to him. It's about him, but it's not to him. Many of the text messages that were central to her case were between her and Ethan. I'm seeing the plates are flying, all of this. He's not on those. So I think from a defense perspective, they're going to try and make that distinction about what he knew and didn't know as opposed to Jennifer Crumbley. But the case is a challenge on the gun.
But isn't that damning if the son is saying, my dad told me to suck it up when I asked him for help for my mental health?
We also have the incident in the school that both parents were called with these terrible complaints by the school, the drawings, the aggressive violence. Both parents were there. Both parents left. The father, knowing the gun is in the house, or thinking at that point that the gun was still in the house, didn't even return home to check. Where is the firearm? I bought this child a firearm. I didn't tell people in the school that I bought this child a firearm. These are very damning issues for the defense.
Does he have more culpability because he is the one who took James to the gun store to buy the gun? And that, according to Jennifer, testified, I mean, she kind of threw him under the bus. She said, I don't know anything about how to store the gun. That was James's job.
Right. I mean, within the scope of gross negligence, they're both grossly negligent, in my opinion. And yes, his culpability would be more clear to a jury, I think, on the gun issue.
You make such a good point. And remember, we're likely to see the same jury instructions, which were these two different manslaughter theories, one directly relating to leaving a firearm available and open to the use of a minor. And so that's a central focus. And we know that because of a new witness that's coming in, which is the prior gun owner, to talk about the condition of that gun.
At the very least, he has the advantage, he and his lawyers, of having watched his wife, you know, the first trial of this.
They have the blueprint. They have the blueprint of the prosecution's case, but still a tough case for the defense.
I believe
it is going to be so fascinating to see if legal history is once again made in that courtroom in Michigan. Misty Marris, Rebecca Rose Woodland, thank you both for being here. Really appreciate it.